Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are you all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day, wherever you are around the world. Hopefully, everyone is having a fantastic Wednesday, wherever you are around the world. I'm just going to say this now, chat. Bright, you didn't win. You lost. I was 6 minutes late, unfortunately for you, so you're not going to win anything. But of course, if anyone is wondering where I am going on about, of course, the chat always likes to predict when I am late for the start of shows, and of course, it's always a lottery of when I'm going to be late or early anyway. But nevertheless, of course, we are going to be bringing you four stories tonight. Anyway, of course, we're going to be speaking about Luis Suarez. Of course, there's been a bit of news concerning Suarez over the last 24 hours, of course, and we'll speak about more about that in tonight's episode. Of course, we're going to speak about Nicolai Barella as well. Obviously, big news, obviously concerning him, not necessarily around Liverpool. There is a little bit around Liverpool, but of course, obviously, the main headline, as it is of tonight, of course, obviously, Newcastle concerning Tonali of AC Milan. It looks like now that they've gone away from Barella, so could Liverpool potentially look at that deal again? Who knows at this point? And as well, we're going to be discussing Mohamed Salah to potentially go into Saudi Arabia as well. Obviously, that news story has come out over the last 24 hours as well. And of course, we're going to be discussing Khephren Thuram. Obviously, until he signs for Liverpool, he'll constantly get to be spoken about on this channel, especially as well. But we do actually have some news concerning Kephren Thuram as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Of course, if anything I've missed in the news as well, let me know, chat as well. And of course, if you're new around here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, and yeah, hit those notification bell as well, guys. To obviously remind yourself when we go when I am late and when I'm not late anyway. But 4 minutes as well. So Doug, Brian saying place your bets, folks. I'm saying 7 minutes late. So yeah, if YouTube was like Twitch and I could like do you know channel points, I'd give you 10 channel points, Bright. But unfortunately, they don't do this on YouTube. I win anyway. 7 minutes late. Also Jackson as well. Like, share, and subscribe, Reds as well. I run those ads, lad, as well. Hey, it's gotta make a living somehow. No, I'm kidding, of course. To be fair, and I've said this, I think Ricky quoted me on this. I've got skippable ads on, so if they're not skippable, I apologize. I have skippable ads on, so thanks YouTube. Anyway, but Doug owes me £1 million. There we go. How was Liverpool, mate? It was very, very good. Obviously, some people got drunk on Saturday. I'm not going to mention any names. All good, we will all be here as well. But yes, we will move on, and we'll obviously talk and discuss about the first story. Obviously, Luis Suarez. Obviously, reports have come out over the last 24 hours saying that Luis Suarez might announce his retirement soon due to knee pain, which has become unbearable. Now, there were suggestions that he could potentially be coming back to Europe. I think there was a few stories that he, could have left Brazil and gone back to Europe, or potentially even gone back to Spain for a potential move as well. But it does look like it is the end now for Luis Suarez in his career. And again, what a career he's had. Obviously, apart from the obviously the major controversial stuff that he has done in his career, but in terms of on the field, again, for me, apart from Messi and Ronaldo in that era, for me was unbelievable in that sense. I think if we were to talk about who's the third best in this kind of generation, for what for what we've had, I think Luis Suarez is probably the third best player. Well, he's certainly the best striker in this generation that we've had. I know that obviously plenty of people will be going, "Oh, Benzema, Lewandowski." No, not for me. I think Luis Suarez is a level above. I think, in my opinion, I do think that obviously there are, there could be questions asked about it, but look, if it is the end of it, that 13-14 season, obviously, I think for many reasons, will be shown as what a season should have been. For me, I think it is probably the greatest individual season by a Premier League player. Maybe Mo. as well could be run up with that. I know people go, oh, Haaland for now, for example, obviously because they won the Premier League and what he's done. But for me, Luis Suarez, he dragged the Liverpool to almost getting a league title under Brendan Rodgers. So yeah, for me, hopefully he has a happy retirement. But yeah, obviously for me, it's a shame. I think I've got to watch him once, like in person when he was at Liverpool, and yeah, just sensational. Actually, no, saying that twice. I watched Luis Suarez twice when he was at the club, and it was brilliant, phenomenal. And look, like I said, for me, if you're going to take out of the equation Messi and Ronaldo, I think Suarez's name absolutely 100% deserves up there for being probably the best player in the world. Certainly the best striker, sorry, in this generation in terms of probably from what 2005 to probably 2020, probably if we're going to talk about that era of things, probably even a bit later, probably. But certainly in this era, in the Ronaldo Messi era, I think Suarez was the best striker, in my opinion, as well. I know plenty of people will have different thoughts, but let me know your guys' thoughts as well on Luis Suarez retirement as well, or retiring, I should say, as well. But what could still be here? They're all skippable as well. That's good to know, Bri, as well. Was on the holy water. Yes, certain holy water, Makendo. He was done 3 years ago, couldn't run. Yeah, no, I think the prime example was the World Cup, wasn't it, chat? I think, as Brian has said there, I think, look, it's watching him at the World Cup was, it was sad because you could tell what he wanted to do but couldn't do it. But yeah, look, obviously you look at when we talk about injuries with Liverpool, the current Liverpool squad, or last season in terms of, for example, like Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, like I think everyone remembers the story of Suarez. I think he borrowed Stevie G's boots because his ankle was swollen that much. He couldn't. I think he had to have, was it 3 or 4 size up boots just to be able to play. Again, absolutely ridiculous. Absolute unit. And look, again, probably if he'd stayed probably a bit longer, I think we were fortunate enough to have probably that season off of him, considering the fact again you had Barca, swooping him around a year earlier, and of course Arsenal with the 40 million and a pound deal. But yeah, no, absolutely unbelievable career for Luis Suarez, of course. But shots. Hello, Spider. Hello, Kev. Hopefully you're doing well, mate. As well, peak Suarez was utterly ridiculous as well. Yeah, outrageous. I think that Arsenal game, everyone remembers us, destroying Arsenal in 20 minutes, but Suarez didn't score. And apart from him smacking the post with an outrageous shot from the corner, he wasn't that much involved in the game. But just the little moments, he was absolutely unbelievable. And yeah, man, we should have won a league title with him there as well. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. He scored some of the best goals I've ever seen as well, and obviously Brian's still saying, because of course I just asked Norwich fans. Yeah, ask Norwich fans how they remember Luis Suarez, of course. Anyway, but again, like I said, hopefully as a happy retirement. Anyway, of course. But again, guys, if there's anything that you guys have seen in the news, let me know as well. And yeah, just in general, obviously with Suarez, things we're going to talk about a bit later on. News haven't really come out as much today as what I thought it might have done, to be perfectly honest with you. But again, hopefully we'll have more news in the coming days and weeks anyway. But we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Nicolai Barella, of course. And this does tie into 2 stories a little bit, one with Liverpool, one away from Liverpool. Now, of course, and this article, it is a bit funny, to be fair, when we look at it. But obviously, I think this is an Italian. It is an Italian article. So again, if the language is a bit iffy, again, I want to apologize, because again, it is translated this website. So again, hopefully we'll be all okay anyway. But it says Liverpool falls on Barella. The offer is ready. Newcastle turn to Tonali. Now, if we quickly goes down. Of course, it does say Liverpool pounce on Nicolai Barella. According to some English sources, are thinking of the first offer to be sent to Inter. Of course, considering their midfielder to be a key in, of course, Inzaghi's project, but do not consider the player born in '97 transferable. I think that's how you pronounce it, and I apologise. In case of a explicit offer, Liverpool ready to offer £77 million for Barella. Of course, after purchase of McAllister for 60, which we know is again not the case. Barella would be identified as another ideal profile to reinforce the midfield on the field. According to the latest rumours, the Reds would be willing to pay £77 million to bring the current Inter player to Jurgen Klopp's court, which, yeah, English. Again, but it obviously with the Newcastle part of things, of course, Newcastle turned to Tonali. Of course, Newcastle was among the first Premier League clubs to pounce on Barella. The Magpies, however, have turned to another goal. Of course, Tonali, midfielder, captain of Milan, of course, blah, 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 offer 65 million, blah, blah, blah. Now, what is interesting is I think David, obviously we know now, for example, with Newcastle, it is confirmed that they are about to buy Tonali. I think it's 70 million euros, which is a good deal. I think it's, again, I want to kind of put it in two brackets. It's a good player to sign. 70 million euros, though, not a good deal, in my opinion. Yeah, first of all, chat, let me know your guys' thoughts on that to begin with. In terms of Tonali for 70 mil, or 70 million euros, which works out around, I think, 64 million pounds. Is it a good deal for Newcastle? I'm not sure. I think obviously if we look at that side of things, obviously it's probably going to move Bruno Guimaraes a bit up the pitch in that regard. Obviously, he won't be playing the six anymore. You probably think that'll be Tonali anyway. But in terms of Barella, of course, the whole thing with 77 million. Again, guys, I don't think it'll happen. Obviously, I do think that it is very much the sense of, will Liverpool, be looking around Barella? Of course they will. Absolutely they will be, because again, Barella fits the profile of what Liverpool need. But I think and I've said this to you guys, if you're watching constantly on the channel, I've said it, week in, week out. For me personally, I think Barella goes to Manchester City, especially now with Gundogan going to Barcelona. That's now confirmed. It's done, I think, according to Fabrizio Romano anyway, with Gundogan. It does feel like that Barella would fit the style of City or Liverpool. And look, again, for the price that is getting spoken about around Barella, is he a player that Liverpool should gamble on? Maybe. Again, perfect profile. 26, 27. Barella fits the bill, but considering what Liverpool look like they want and the targets that have been spoken about in terms of profile, in terms of player, like you look at Thuram, Vega, Gravenberch, they're all around 20, 21, 22. They're not 26, 27 years old. Maybe that might be the profile we're going for at the moment, but again, I think that, and I said it yesterday to you guys, I think Barella is either going to be staying at Inter and they'll give him a new contract, or I do think that City will end up buying Barella. I just have that weird feeling, because now Gundogan's gone, they're going to go and sign a top quality midfielder. Hopefully they stay away from Liverpool targets, fingers crossed, but that's the one for me where I'm hoping and dreaming anyway that they stay away from our targets anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts as well on that article piece as well. I don't believe it to begin with, but I saw lots of people going on about it this morning. And yeah, apparently, like, this article piece, it is from a reliable Italian news outlet again. So again, hopefully there is some truth in it. Liverpool got 77 million to splash on a centre mid, but again, I don't think it's true, for being perfectly honest. Obviously, big up chat as well. Hello, Luke. Hopefully, you're doing well, mate. Obviously, Conor Romano as well. Hi, Luke. Doug. Hi to Kev. Your picture of Barella looks like he's running for. Wait there, where is it? Yeah, it's Jack when he needs to go to the toilet. That's what it is. Yeah, no, absolutely. To be fair, I, there isn't many good quality photos of Barella on Google. So again, I had to nick one from the Champions League final. Anyway, but nevertheless, name the last Italian player to be a success in the Premier League. Again, Balotelli? Question mark. Don't buy Italian players. That's I think the consensus of a lot of people, as well. But no, says Brian. John Henry would have nosebleed spending 77 million. Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. Not happening. Yeah, don't buy Italian players. Name the last Italian player to be successful in the Premier League. Zola, Pele, even, as well from Doug. The only Italian to win a Premier League medal is Mario Balotelli. Yep, that is true. Again, that's mad to me. See, like the amount of Italian players that have been in the Premier League, like Jorginho, for example, I thought would have won a Premier League title while he was at Chelsea. Obviously, if you listen to Arsenal fans, that technically won it with Arsenal. Just saying. But it's a bit mad, isn't it? Again, obviously, I have PTSD from what's his face, from Aquilani. That for me is always the one that, yeah, it's always a drag through when, when we talk about Italian centre mids as well. But exactly, Doug, to narrow it down, last Italian player not to play for a London club that was a success, Balotelli. Again, but yeah, Tonali will spend one winter in Newcastle and get PTSD. I just think that, and I was watching, or I think I read, Footy Experts tweet about Tonali, and it doesn't make sense really. Again, it does and it doesn't. The player profile, yeah, it makes a lot of sense for Newcastle. They can now probably play a midfield of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, and probably put Guimaraes further forward in that regard. But again, it's just like, you look at options and you look what Newcastle are going to do next season. They've probably splashed the biggest amount of their budget on Tonali now. Because again, people like lose their minds over. I've already seen Liverpool supporters lose their minds over Tonali. Like, oh, why aren't Liverpool going after Tonali? 70 million. Like, Tonali isn't worth 70. He's worth 70 million euros to AC Milan. Of course he is, but he's not worth 70 million euros as a whole. He's not. Like, again, how old's Tonali, chat? Is he 26? I think he is 27. I think he's 26. He might be a bit younger than that. But again, I just don't think he's worth that much amount. That much amount, that doesn't make sense. That amount, I can't talk. That amount of money, I don't think he's worth that much, personally, anyway. But bring back Alberto Aquilani, Fabio Borini, and Mario Balotelli. What a time to be alive, Luke. What a time to be alive. For God's sake, do you think we get the players we need in kind of worried? I think if Thuram and Vega go to under 20 tournament, the prices will rise. Yeah, that's the obviously we're going to speak about it a bit later on with Thuram. It is the worry. But yeah, we'll get onto that a bit later on. I'll answer that a bit later on, Colin, as well, because yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mad one. Of course, they have fantastic tournaments as well. But Dorsena, lads, Dorsena had the best week you could ever have for a Liverpool player inside a week. Was it scored the fourth goal against beating United Old Trafford, scored the fourth goal against Real Madrid at Anfield, and then yeah, didn't do anything else. Not much that season. Because it's funny enough, people that like again, he was bought as a left back. He did play left back, but then didn't do anything else for Liverpool, especially in that season. I think we ended up playing him as a backup left winger for Alberto Riera, I think, in the end. But yeah, absolutely, again, another Italian. Tonali has already said he doesn't want to go to England. Has he already said this? Again, I haven't really checked the story too much. Again, I've obviously saw the news with hang on a chat. Bernardo Silva going to Saudi chat, by the looks of things, which is a bit mad. But yeah, I haven't seen if he has said anything with that as well. But obviously, Vaza Flowers is in as well, saying, let's be perfectly frank here, how many Italian midfielders have truly progressed in England? Jorginho, potentially? Would you put him in that list? Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Again, Italian midfielders in the Prem. Again, Jorginho is the one that comes to mind, but then was he successful in the Prem? I don't think he was. And that, of course, won the Champions League at Chelsea, but again, Champions League not particularly. That to be fair, but 23, obviously Tonali is 23. Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, that when you okay, then I'll take that back. Tonali for 70 mil, maybe probably good, but yeah, like again, I just don't think he's worth that one. Football has been dying for a long time. Yeah, no, it has been. Again, I'm gonna probably do a video talking about Saudi Arabia. Obviously, we're going to discuss Mo Salah potentially going to Saudi as well. But yeah, everyone's going to Saudi. And again, note to Premier League. Guess what? You've allowed Chelsea to sell all their assets to Saudi Arabia while they have a Saudi Arabia person that owns multiple clubs or owns a stake in Saudi Arabia. I'm not entirely sure what of, but they've allowed one of the consortium people in Chelsea Football Club to be able to sell the players on. So they've already got 100 million of other sales and other bit of business before they get rid of maybe Lukaku, or they get rid of course, they've got rid of Kai Havertz today to Arsenal and that. But again, like the Premier League, like we talk about morals, we talk about them doing this, obviously, charging City with corruption and so on. And then, just Chelsea, yep, go on, sell all your players to Saudi Arabia, doesn't matter in terms of price or anything like that. Again, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I would agree 100%. But what do you think of Timber to Arsenal? I think we should gone have him. Even Van Dijk said it's a very versatile. We need someone like him. No. Yeah, the player profile, yeah, we need, because again, can play DM, can play right back, centre back. I watched. Was it when we played Ajax? I think was it this season? I think it was in the group stages. I watched back when Timber played at Anfield. He played absolutely awful, and I think did we beat them 2-0 or something like that? But I was watching it back earlier on, and Timber played awful. That was the thing where it was like, just I think he got bullied 3 or 4 times by Luis Diaz in the end. I'm like, yeah, Jesus Christ, we're gonna have an absolute. If we end up signing them, you could just imagine it, couldn't you? But yeah, no, I'm not that wasting with Timber. Look, profile of Timber, yeah, absolutely. Liverpool need that type of player, 1000%. But it's again, I just look at it and I'm like, you know, I don't think we should be getting a player like that. I think obviously Mickey Van der Ven, looking at him today, was pretty decent to be fair, playing centre half. But I think Liverpool just need a left-sided centre half first, and then look at right back or anything like that. In that regard, anyway. But yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. But Jorginho is one as well. Yeah, absolutely is. If you sign for Liverpool and score against Madrid and United, I think you can take the rest of the year off. Yeah, you can. To be fair, Rob. To be fair, I think he took the rest of his Liverpool career off. I don't think he did he play that much afterwards? I don't think he did he? I think he got, was it a knee injury in the end? I think with Dulcena, but yeah, I get it. It's a bit gutted, like when I always remember, like for me, the one Liverpool defender anyway, and the two really for me growing up was Fabio Aurelio and Daniel Agger. For me, if them two had stayed fit, I think them two, especially Daniel Agger. I think Agger was a very very good player. I think Daniel Agger would be very good in today's football, but I just think that obviously injuries was a massive hit with him. But again, I love Daniel Agger growing up, and Fabio Aurelio. Obviously, Fabio Aurelio scoring that beautiful free kick at Old Trafford as well, which will obviously still be remembered forever. But Di Canio, Zola were my favourite Italians in England as well. Yeah, Di Canio was special. Italian midfielders, remember Slaphead from Crystal Palace. Lombardio, was it? He used to was of Paul as a teenager, bloody hell. Flowers, but obviously chatting laughing. Great pick, Jack. I love clips of Di Canio as well. Yeah, Di Canio is up there. For Premier League, is he in the Premier League Hall of Fame? Chat. I'm not even that sure. Respected lads. Vaz Chandra Shelby goated. Chandra Shelby is goated. What a midfielder he was. Rob, we couldn't meet up. Kev did drop you a message on the weekend. No, you were most likely busy. Yeah, no, Rob. If Rob is here, yeah, we did message. Kev did message you, and yeah, hopefully we'll try to have to get and do something with a few of you guys as well. Because again, obviously, I was up over the weekend. So obviously, Kev was over as well. And yeah, maybe we'll have to try and do something during the season, or something like that. Hopefully, I'll be up for a few games this season. The PIV Public Investment Fund, they bought 4 of the top clubs in Saudi overnight, but 6 other clubs were taken over by companies which are basically PIV owned as well. So okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Why are Liverpool not trying to sign Garvidal? We are one of the best teams in the world. Garvidal would choose Liverpool over City. We all know, but our owners are cheapskates. I don't think it's about cheapskates. I think the price of Garvidal is just it's a bit out there. I think you're going to be paying £100 million for him at the moment. I know that was it Florian Plintenberg said that it wouldn't be anything less than €100 million. And then I was watching or listening to a Bundesliga podcast, and they were saying that most likely it's going to be £100 million, not euros, for Garvidal. Liverpool won't do that unless it's a certainty, like Virgil van Dijk, for example. And even then, of course, we didn't spend 100 million on Virgil; it was 75. But again, I think 100 is a bit too much for Liverpool in that regard. Again, should Liverpool go and sign Garvidal? Absolutely, absolutely agree, 100%. Fits the style and the profile we want to go on in that sense. But again, is it something Liverpool are going to go out and do? No, unfortunately. And it is annoying. It's annoying me saying that, but it's true. It's the truth, unfortunately. And yeah, this is why we're looking at cheaper alternatives in terms of Mickey van der Ven, in terms of in terms of Mickey van der Ven. Who's the other one? Colwell as well is another one. So yeah, that's the senses of it anyway. But Aurelio is my favourite Liverpool player, says Bry as well. He was certainly one of the best ones. For me, I was, again, Stevie was up there, obviously goated as a young kid for me. Obviously Stevie G, I think, was for everyone. I think for me though as well, the other one was Xavi Alonso. I remember, like, everyone goes, oh, Fernando Torres was the first player that broke young Liverpool supporters' hearts. Xavi Alonso for me was the first one. Always got upset when Xavi Alonso went to Real Madrid, because he was so good alongside Stevie and Mascherano as well, and even Mascherano in that sense as well. Him going to Barca was sad in that time anyway. But Obviously, Google a picture of my Southampton midfielder David Armstrong of the 80s. I blame my stepdad for making me laugh. For God's sake. Have you read that if we sign Khephren Thuram, we will see if we have more money to invest more in the squad. I did see something on that, but I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, surely that isn't true. If it's true, then Jesus Christ, like it's true. We got no money, but it's true anyway. To be fair, but if that is the case, that we are hoping for getting funds up in that regard, again, so stupid, man. Like it should just be basis now. Liverpool should go out and get 3 midfielders in total as a bare minimum. But yeah, I don't think that's true, for being honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if it is true either. That's so like annoying and sad at the same time for me to say that, but it's true. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. And yeah, it's just laughable, isn't it? Ridiculous as well, to be fair. But I can't say we paid it for Nunes. We didn't pay 100 million though. We paid 64. Again, it rises up to 85 million if we win the Premier League, Champions League. I think appearance based as well. It's that sense. But yeah, we didn't pay 100 million for Darwin Nunes. We paid 64. Yeah, because at the minute the fee is 64 million pounds for Darwin Nunes, and then again, like I said, if it is Premier League, Champions League, appearance based as well, probably goal based as well, then probably add-ons then add on to it, and it will eventually go to 85. But yeah, it's not 100. FSG. Russian saying FSG not giving Klopp his targets. Gvardiol, Bellingham, Barella, FSG out as well. I don't know whether or not Gvardiol is a target, if I'm being perfectly honest. He's as well. Alonso, Torres, and Aurelio are my top 3 as well. Can't argue with that. To be fair, Klopp deserves better. He has to get the cheap options. Why not FSG sell the club? That's again, it's just investment though. Like I think the more worrying news is where's the investment, more than anything personally, I would say. But yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. But Stevie was an attacker. Alonso was a genius in midfield. Yeah, Xabi Alonso was so underrated, man. Mascherano was the glue that held it together. Yeah, Sissoko as well. Yeah, Ali Sissoko. You just look at that, like for me, like I've got obviously if I could turn the thing around, I've got a poster of, or like a framed thing of the 2008-2019 with signatures and that. But I look at that. I'm looking at that team now. How on earth did that team or the squad not win something in that season, especially? Like you look at again, draws just completely destroyed us winning the league that season. But like that season was memorable. Like we beat United home and away. We beat Chelsea. Like we beat Chelsea when nobody beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We were the first team to beat Chelsea, I think, in 5.5 years. I think at home, was somewhere near enough to that as well. It was Momo. Sorry, not Ali. That's because we talked about Ali the other night. Ali Sissoko, but yeah, Momo called not Ali. My apologies. It's because we were speaking about Ali Sissoko the other week, and yeah, Ali Sissoko in my head for some reason. But no, that team again. You look at you had Reina. You had Torres, Gerrard, Alonso, Riera, De Kuyt. You had Arbeloa, Cara. Everyone like probably at their prime as well. I'd say probably, and yeah, we still couldn't win freaking anything, which was annoying. To be fair, but yeah, it's very very frustrating anyway. But yeah, I do apologize. It is Momo Sissoko, not freaking Ali, because we were speaking about Ali Sissoko the other night, and yeah, just said Ali Sissoko in the head. Can't see us getting Gravenberch. My feeling is he might stay at Bayern. I'm being perfectly honest. That 3 was elite at Jack as well. Gvardiol was target. We approached him in January. to sign him. It was too high on the list. Yeah, that is true. Again, I remember now. The money we have as a club is there. We just don't spend it. Again, true. Um, yeah, I'll get back to Jack's comment now. Mascherano was so good, but Barca made him a centre back. Yeah, and he was a really good centre half as well. Didn't he tear? Again, I'm not going to say what he tore, but didn't he tear something bad against United in the Champions League final? Which Momo, no, Momo not Ali. Momo was quality as well. Obviously, Rob laughing. Rodri is really good. Yeah, Rodri, to be fair, probably best DM in the world at the minute. Barbel as well. Yeah. We nearly won the league with Ali at left back. Yeah. What is it? John Flanagan, Martin Skirtle, Colo Torre, and yeah, Alex is so good. Jesus Christ. And remember, we had Varanen. Varanen, again, pre-season merchant, was world class in pre-season, and then just didn't produce it. Alex Sissoko played that cross for Suarez outside the box, header, one of the best goals against West Brom was in the chat as well. Very, very good goal. Suarez nearly made Alex Sissoko Premier League winner. Oh, Jesus Christ. Manquillo as well. Manquillo was at Liverpool at that time as well. Atletico Madrid. Jesus Christ, that's awful. His arse it was his arse that he tore. I just didn't know which way to put it then. To be fair, Brian anyway. But yeah, no, he did tear his arse, which was again funny now looking back at it, but yeah, at the time wasn't very, very good, was it anyway? But we're going to move on anyway, chat, and we're going to talk about Mo Salah anyway, of course. Now, the latest rumor around Mo Salah, of course, is him potentially going to Saudi Arabia. Now, the head of the Asian Football Confederation Market Committee has come out and said his thoughts on Mo Salah. I can quickly get it for you guys. And this is what he had to say. Of course, it is highlighted over there. He says the head of the Asian Football Confederation's Marketing Committee told, I think it's Cora, I think it is, we must also start working on the signings of Mohamed Salah since he is an overwhelmingly popular in Arab world and in Europe. I think Salah still has records to break with Liverpool, so I hope that if he doesn't come now, he will in the future. Obviously, he does go on to say that, of course, Mo's contract runs out in 2025. Obviously, one thing that could lure him away is prospect of wages and offers. Obviously, currently on 350 a week at Liverpool, but again, obviously considering the market that is around, again, you would suspect that you'd be on a lot more than 350 as well. And it does beg the question of, in 2 years' time, where will Liverpool be? I think the one major thing, in my personal opinion, is if Liverpool aren't competing at the top level that we've known Liverpool being over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. If we're not back to that inside 2 years' time, or even in a year's time, would Mo potentially look at other options and go, oh look, I might want something else, might want to change in terms of project and so forth. Again, he's done everything at Liverpool. I don't think, though, potentially he won't do it. I think Mo is most likely to stick around than to probably go somewhere else. I think obviously there was rumours of PSG the other night, and obviously I think 2 nights ago there was something else about him potentially could even move to Spain in that regard in the future. But I think Mo, obviously Liverpool could be in a very different place in 2 years' time, or when his contract does run out. I do think will Liverpool offer him a new deal? Of course, it won't be an improved deal. This is the most he will get in that sense. But would Liverpool offer him a new deal? Maybe I'm not sure. But again, obviously, as as said in that article piece, everyone knows the value for Mo Salah, which is huge in that regard. And again, you'd probably think that if there is something there, potentially Mo might go. But again, I think it just does depend on whether or not Liverpool, where Liverpool are in 2-3 years' time. I think if we're back competing, fighting at the top, and Mo's a part of that, I think Mo would stick around. But I do also think that if Liverpool aren't at the top and aren't doing what we are right now, again, I do think it is potentially Mo might go somewhere else. But let me know your guys' thoughts anyway. But in my personal opinion, I'd say Mo sticks around longer than the 2-3 years that he is going to be here for anyway. But the way that Saudi are buying players at the minute, again, who knows? Because I didn't expect Ruben Neves to go to Saudi Arabia for 55 mil. I didn't expect, you look at other deals, for example. I think, if the news is true in terms of Bernardo Silva going to Saudi Arabia as well, that's mad in that regard as well. But yeah, I think look, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I think for well, a couple of seasons, I should say, for Mo potentially in a Liverpool shirt. But again, hopefully Liverpool back fighting at the top next season anyway. But Mascherano was on ITV after Barca beat United in the Champions League final and gloated saying it was for Liverpool fans. Then they cut straight to Gary Neville's face in the studio. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Again, Mascherano, I think, again, he's spoken quite highly of Liverpool. And again, I think Liverpool fans speak highly of him. I think he stayed probably a year after than he should have. But yeah, look, I think he's absolutely a Liverpool legend in that regard. Absolutely brilliant midfielder for the Reds. But these moves are motivated by agents, Connor. He's only got a short term left to make money. Fairly speaking, he will make a fortune if he goes to Saudi. Yeah, no, he will. Absolutely 100% Rob. As like as Brian said there, this is definitely Mo's last contract with us. I don't know. Mo, when 2025, he's going to be what, 34, 35. Yeah, maybe Liverpool might do it again. Like you're looking at the moment, if Liverpool was to, and I'm not saying Liverpool are going to go out and sell, Mo Salah. I'm not saying that at all, but if you look at it right now, and I want to know your guys' thoughts in the chat as well. If Liverpool were to sell Mo Salah right now, again, I'm not saying we are going to, but if we would go and sell Mo Salah, how much could you get for him right now in today's market? I think, stupidly enough, I still think Liverpool could get 100 million euros for, or was it 80, about 85 million, 90 million for Mo Salah now. Of course, I'm just judging now based on age. Realistically, I'd like to say 100 million. I think they'll get for Mo right now, considering again he's still putting out the output in the Premier League and so on. Could a club come in with that valuation? Again, the only team is probably PSG if they wanted to. In Europe, I don't think there's anyone else. Obviously, Madrid could potentially do it, but I don't think they would. But yeah, I'm just looking, just trying to think, in Europe, I think personally only PSG could do that type of deal. But yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? It's Mo 32 now. I think, yeah, as Brian says, 31. I think he's 32 this year, I think he is. I could be wrong with that. We are not signing no one else. We are, Daryl. Be positive, lad. Justin and Connor, under 21 finals, July 8th. Same day as for pre-season. If we are making signings, I don't see them bedding in by the season kickoff. Besides, their value will have increased. FSG not buying as always. I think we'll get on to Kephren Thuram in a minute and the whole situation around Kephren Thuram. Let me quickly read out the last few comments. But Mo, once red, always red, and he will be gone in 2 years, says Brian. Anyway, but I will quickly get on because again, I know plenty of people are having conversation about Kephren Thuram. And again, look, obviously with the news with Kephren Thuram, I think last night or this morning anyway, of course, it has come out and saying Liverpool will wait until the end of the European Under-21 Championship before submitting an offer for Nice's Khephren Thuram, which was 22. And of course, it is said again, but Liverpool are looking to strengthen their midfield further via the signing of Khephren Thuram, willing to wait until after the under-21 Euros to meet Nice's asking price at a minimum of 40 million euros. Now, again, I do agree with you guys. It is a very risky, it is a very risky thing to do. Now, Liverpool did this with Jude Bellingham, supposedly, like in terms of Liverpool value Jude Bellingham before the World Cup at £80 million. Now, I think a genius in a right mind would have turned around and gone, "Yep, no, Jude Bellingham is worth over 100 million before the World Cup," and obviously the World Cup then helped towards that. Now, if Kephren Thuram has a brilliant World Cup or brilliant Euro, sorry, again the valuation's going to go up. We all know this, and it's a weird strategy from Liverpool because if Thuram has a decent tournament or has one that again doesn't feature much, or of course he will feature, he is the best midfielder in that bracket, probably alongside Manu Kone. But if he does, if he doesn't have a good tournament, again it helps Liverpool in that regard. But it is that worry again, though, chat, isn't it? Like Liverpool at the moment, I think value him at £45 million. I think that's where we're at with Kephren Thuram. If he does then go up to like 50, 60 million pounds, we only have ourselves to blame. And we can't just turn around and go, "Oh yeah, we're not going to pay it." Well, we're apparently so assured of it. And again, you do have to worry a little bit for other teams as well, potentially coming in and looking at him and going, "Oh, who's this player? Go in, sign him, and then get him for the start of the season." Now, what I think Liverpool have the reassurances from Kephren Thuram and probably Nice as well, that a deal can be done for Kephren Thuram as soon as he's available, after the Euro tournament. I think at the minute Liverpool have put themselves in a little bit of a corner because not only have you got it with Thuram, you've got it with Gabby Veiga, you've got it with you've got it with Gravenberch, you've got it with Manu Kone. All of them are currently at the Euro tournament, so we're going to have to wait until they're all out of that. Of course, we can probably agree a deal with Nice, for example, for Kephren Thuram. But the biggest problem is at the moment you've got to then bring a third party into the conversation. Of course, with this being the French Federation or the French national team anyway, in terms of getting the deal done. And maybe Liverpool might go as soon as the tournament's over, or when France are out of the tournament. Again, Liverpool go straight in for Thuram, get him in. He'll have his holiday, come back to Liverpool, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, the sense of Liverpool getting everyone in before the start of pre-season, it doesn't look like that's going to happen now, and it is frustrating because I know a lot of us, including me, are like, "We'll go and sign him now." But I think what some people, positive people on Twitter was like, "Oh, well, if he gets a major injury, Liverpool don't go for him. If he looks amazing, Liverpool still go for him in that regard." And it is that sense. But again, like I said, you do leave yourself a little bit vulnerable because again, the price can easily go up, and plus other teams could easily come in for him. And again, what I think has happened with Thuram is I think Liverpool have had reassurances from Thuram especially that he wants to join Liverpool, and that's all we've heard for the last couple of weeks is that Thuram is intrigued, he's lured by Liverpool, he's intrigued by the idea of working under Jurgen Klopp. Now, that's all well and good, but of course we all know Liverpool. If the price gets too high, we'll pull out the deal, and I don't want Liverpool to do that because I think, judging from listening to Euro experts and listening to a few bits and pieces, Kephren Thuram has all the capabilities of being a world beater in midfield. And if we can get him in now and get him in, working under Klopp, working under the players we currently got, and Alexis McAllister as well. Again, like the midfield, I think if Liverpool just get the right people in the door, it won't click straight away and it won't work straight away because again, you've seen how the likes of Rubinho had to bed in for 6 months. Andy Robertson had to bed in. Obviously, Darwin Núñez has taken a year to bed in properly. again, you hope and dream that it all clicks together straight away. McAllister will work straight away because, again, Premier League experience. We play quite similar towards Brighton. With Thuram, it's a bit different. He's have to play in an east side that is very defensive minded in that regard. And again, Thuram is a difference. He's a different type of player to what Nice have in that regard. I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool is probably the best place for him as well. But it is just annoying now at the minute that we do have to wait for Thuram. But again, we have to wait for anyone that we get. I think Kone, Gravenberch, Mickey van der Ven as well. There's probably somebody else that I'm not even mentioning as well. Again, I look at the one thing I will always go back to is when we signed Shaqiri. Everybody knew that Liverpool wanted Shaqiri. Everybody knew that it was pretty much a done deal, but nothing was done because we couldn't get him to have a medical because he was away at the Euros. As soon as the Euros were finished, I think 3 days later, Liverpool signed Shaqiri. And I think that's what's going to happen again, is the fact that Liverpool will get, as soon as it's done, I think the deal then will ramp up, and I think Liverpool get it done in a couple of days of France getting knocked out, or if they win the tournament, for example. Anyway, but in my opinion, do I think the next signing will be to Kephren Thuram to Liverpool? Yes, I do. I do think Liverpool will sign Kephren Thuram, but again, when it will happen, it could be the next week. It could even be in a month's time, and it's really frustrating at that point. And again, as soon as Jurgen Klopp has a microphone near his mouth, and people start asking questions, that's what people will ask him. Why have we only got McAllister done? Why haven't we gone and signed 2, 3, 4 mid players by now? But yeah, that's the frustrating point. It's going to be the next frustrating point for the next month while this tournament is. But of course, we'll all be watching tomorrow. I think is it 8 o'clock chat for Kephren Thuram for France, Italy tomorrow. We'll quickly double check. Wait, is it today or tomorrow? Yeah, 7:45. France v Italy in the under-21 tournament. I'll definitely be watching that 100%, and obviously keep an eye on Kone, Thuram as well. Obviously watched Gravenberch and Mickey van der Ven today in the 0-0 draw for Holland. But yeah, hopefully we'll hopefully hear some more good news with Thuram hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But again, like I said, nothing now will happen until that tournament's done with. But yeah, in terms again, I'm in right into the door. Excuse me. First thing first thing of pre-season. No, absolutely not. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see now. But it is annoying, and hopefully, the price doesn't go up by 40, 50 million quid if he has a brilliant tournament. I want the next Mo and the next Jurgen Klopp always evolve, move on when the time is right, as well as bright. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Bicetis has a very bright future if he stays fit. Yeah, no, he does, absolutely. Evening Bob as well, hopefully well, mate. Newcastle will get Thuram. I don't think they will. Personally, Daryl, I think Liverpool will sign Kephren Thuram. It's in my opinion, I think it's a matter of when for Liverpool. But again, obviously nothing's done until it's done in that regard. But yeah, I don't think Newcastle are going to get Thuram. We are in the reduced aisle in Tesco. It's a joke, to be honest. All the other teams are spending big, and so far on front of us as well. I don't want to sound too FSG in that regard, because again, I agree. Again, should Liverpool be in the conversation for Declan Rice? Yeah, absolutely. Should Liverpool be in the conversation for Jude Bellingham when he was available? For Barella as well? Absolutely. But if we sign a player for 5 million and it ends up working out that he's the next superstar, I don't care. To be fair, that's the thing. I don't care if we sign a player for if it's 2 million, 5 million, 100 million. I don't care, as long as they're the correct profile that we need and the correct player to fix this Liverpool midfield. I don't care, if I'm being perfectly honest. Again, that might sound very FSG and very like, Liverpool should be spending big. Why aren't you saying that? I think for me, of course, Liverpool should be in that bracket. We should be able to spend 250 million, 300 million to rebuild the midfield. And we should be, absolutely, 100%. I do agree. But we've seen how well, for example, Brighton have done. We've seen how well Madrid have done in terms of buying gems for 4, 5, 6, 7 million quid. Look at Andy Robertson, for example, 8 million quid. Look at the job Andy Robertson's done over the last 5 years. That's for me what Liverpool need to go back and to do. Don't need to go out and spend 60, 70 million quid on a player if he's not going to make sense. McAllister made a lot of sense. Again, we were fortunate enough that he was 35 million. But again, I don't care how much they cost as long as it's the right profile. We need to go back to having a Wijnaldum, Henderson, Fabinho midfield, because I think, again, that was the midfield that was best for Liverpool in terms of that workhorse type midfield. That's my opinion, though. Again, I know plenty of people go, "Oh, we should be in the conversation for Declan Rice." Again, City are in the conversation for Declan Rice. They haven't bid as of yet, as well. So, again, I think Liverpool are doing deals behind the scenes. I think they are. I'm optimistic, of course. And this is the thing. I'll be optimistic now. And again, it's very early in the window. It's not, again, I'm not saying that, again, like FSG won't do this, but they won't do that. Again, I have doubts. Absolutely, 100%. But what I'm also saying as well is that Liverpool, I'm in the bracket of Liverpool. I've been optimistic that Liverpool are doing things behind the scenes. And that, like we're saying, like with the Jude Bellingham stuff, that a lot of it was in the media and a lot of things were out there. We're hopefully doing things now. So it's, again, you won't know until Paul Joyce tweets out or David Ornstein comes out saying, "Oh, Liverpool agree £40 million deal to sign Khephren Thuram," for example. That's what I hope is going to happen. But again, obviously, we do have our doubts and so forth as well. And again, rightfully so, because can't trust anyone, to be fair as well. But we're not even in Tesco. We're Horan Foods as well, bloody hell. Left footed centre back with pace, Van der Ven as well. Yeah, he did look alright tonight, didn't he? Again, first time I've watched him for 90 minutes. He looked decent on the ball. Obviously, I'll keep an eye on him in this tournament, but yeah, obviously Liverpool's data analysis will have better idea of him than me. Van der Ven sounds like he's available for about 20 mil. Yeah, it does sound about that. I think it's around 20. I think the quote yesterday, I think that I brought it up on screen, I think it's around 24 mil, 25 mil. But again, it could easily be 20 mil for Liverpool anyway. But we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, big thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. Let me quickly check something anyway. But yeah, obviously, not much news at the minute concerning Liverpool in that regard. Obviously, at the moment, obviously, speaking mainly on Liverpool, it's not necessarily a day in day out occurrence now with news. Of course, we are just waiting for Thuram news, or if there's anything in terms of players leaving, for example. But yeah, at the moment, there's not much to talk about. Obviously, we're going to do a video on Trent. That's coming up over the next couple of days. I think it'll be done maybe Friday. I think we're going to be doing a conversation around Trent, and obviously, should he be moved into Liverpool's midfield permanently in terms of being in the 8 role, or should he stay in the inverted role, or even Liverpool's right back? I think that's going to be a conversation for Friday. And yeah, if there's anything other news or anything else that does break, of course we'll be live as soon as we can to break that news anyway. But at the moment, it is just a waiting game at the minute anyway. But hopefully all of you guys have had a fantastic day. Hopefully you do have a fantastic rest of your day anyway. And yeah, if anyone is new around here, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I think we're on 15 likes, guys. So if we can get 20, again, very much appreciated as always. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have some positive news over the next week, hopefully. But again, we just have to wait and see on that anyway. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all then. I'll see you all then. Ta-ra.